This is a fabulous day to be out here in Fort Trumbull, and every time I come, I'm struck by how beautiful it is and the magnificent views, and really you can't escape the history of it and the beauty of it. And every time I come, I think, wouldn't it be great if we could share this in a better way and bring more people here? You can see it's just magnificent. It looks out over the mouth of the Thames River, really literally out to sea. It recalls all the great marine heritage of New London, and it's a spectacular vista across the river to the submarines being built, an electric boat, Pfizer, one of our big corporate community leaders, the skyline of Groton City, and the skyline of New London, and then the beautiful Coast Guard station here that does search and rescue work and is home for cutters and all kinds of things of the working Coast Guard. Originally, when the legislation was passed in Congress to establish a Coast Guard museum and to have it be in New London, this was really the preferred location, and this is what everyone thought of. It's really the original home of the Coast Guard. Back when it was the Revenue Cutter Service and the Life Saving Service, they were put together, and this is where the officers were trained. Eventually it became the Coast Guard Academy that moved further north up the river. But this is really this is an historic home of the Coast Guard, and it was a really natural choice when people were talking about where to put the museum. I think at the time there was also the battle was beginning to rage over eminent domain, and I think that brought some reluctance to the decision makers and to not combine the two, and for I'm sure many reasons the downtown location was chosen, but it's proven over time to certainly not be the better location for it. Well, first of all, it's a completely empty site. Really, ever since the development began here in 20 years ago, it's been cleaned and cleared, and the infrastructure has been built. There's sewers and water, and really it's ready to be built. It's been ready to be built for a long time, and so it's a logical place in that sense. You can drive here, you can park here. There's plenty of place to put surface parking. You have access through the downtown. If you come here from the highway, you're going to drive through the downtown, you're going to drive back through the downtown. So people who want to put the museum downtown, who feel that it'll help the city, I think that this could help the city in the same way. It's going to draw people, and it's going to draw them through the city, and they're going to logically stop. It's a beautiful place. In the summertime, there's even a water taxi that runs to other attractions on the river and to downtown New London, and there's no reason that taxi couldn't run really well into the shoulder seasons, have enclosures, keep people dry and warm. And so if you come here and you park your car here, you can visit the museum, you can visit the magnificent Fort Trumbull, and you can take a water taxi to downtown New London if you like, or you can stop in the city on your way back. It's a very logical, practical place for it. I mean, the cost of putting the museum downtown across the railroad tracks on a floodplain with a proposed $20 million pedestrian bridge that would go to a parking garage that's usually full, you really have to build another parking garage downtown. There are all kinds of problems with that site that just don't exist here, and all kinds of expenses. They haven't really even priced out how expensive that building would be. And this is a pretty straightforward building site. Infrastructure's here, logistically it makes sense, and when you compare the two, there's no comparison. As a matter of fact, I think right now they may well have enough money between what the state has committed and what the federal government has committed for the interior work of the museum and what they've raised themselves. There's probably enough to build a museum here now. This was really the home of the first Coast Guard Academy, where they trained their leaders and they really began to put the service that exists today together. So it has an enormous history and significance for the Coast Guard. There's often big cutters here. There's one coming out through the river this morning. And it also has two enormous piers. There's plenty of room for the Eagle. The Eagle's often berthed here, which is a magnificent addition and would really complement the rest of the facility. And then there's another pier, and they can bring other Coast Guard boats here. So there's lots of opportunity for the Coast Guard to showcase not just its history, but its working service, its boats, its men and women, and it's all on display right here. Here's a great chance for the city of New London to kind of put something on the boards, and here we are in Fort Trumbull. It's been 20 years. They took people's homes. Nothing's happened here. They've tried everything, developments, apartments, townhouses, hotels. None of it's happened, and here's something that really could happen. whether they build it in the development parcels around here or in the park, or the federal government still owns the Coast Guard station. But here's a chance for New London to kind of step up and say, hey, we can do this, and we're a city on the move, and we're doing something. We're hosting the National Coast Guard Museum, and the politicians who are sticking by that impossible site downtown, they're not helping. I can tell you, for everywhere I go and people I talk to, and as a result of the columns I've been writing, everyone, not everyone, but there's a preponderance of community opinion, I think, that it's not going to work downtown. It's a bad idea for a lot of reasons. It's a floodplain. It's on the wrong side of the railroad tracks. It's expensive. People feel it should go somewhere else, and I think there's a preponderance of public opinion that it should go here, and I think that the politicians need to listen to that. It's been 20 years since Congress said that New London should have a Coast Guard museum. The people of the Coast Guard, the good men and women who would be honored by such a museum, and the people of New London who would benefit so much by having such a facility here, they've been waiting. It's been 20 years. And what they've proposed and what they've done is a failure. And everybody needs to accept that and acknowledge it and move on.